Hey Jeepers, there's been a lot of talk online about how best to hang your hardtop, and I thought I'd show you the system that I'm currently using and then talk you through the system that I'm building today. See if this works for you. So my current system uses just 4 ratchet straps. You can see them up here. This works great and it's really inexpensive. I think I paid 20 bucks for the 4 ratchet straps. The problem with this is I designed that system when I had my old JK, and the top only came off once a year and I left it off. But now that I'm using my JL as a daily driver, I need to be able to put the top on, take it off with some higher frequency. So a couple notes about this. I dropped some eye bolts through the install holes just to give me something to hang on to. And in the back, what I did, which is a little different than some people, is I came down with a ratchet strap and I grabbed a piece of webbing, an old piece of climbing webbing, and I went under the whole top as a cradle. I didn't like the idea of going through the back glass because I was worried about tearing or deforming the weather stripping. So this system uses just the webbing as a cradle. And the only downside to the ratchet strap idea is that you got to keep running back and forth and ratcheting them up and down. And also when you release, it releases all the weight at once. So today I'm designing a system that uses a pulley. I spent about 20 bucks on this on Amazon, and this should significantly reduce down the weight, and I'll hang it from the ceiling and show you the frame that we're going to build as we pick it up. But I'm basically going to use 4 2x4s, and we will make just a square frame out of that, and that's what the hoist will lift up and down. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're basically done with the Jeep hoist. It went through several design iterations along the way as we played with the system. But what you can see here is we have one 2x4 going across the front. It goes through with a carriage bolt. That carriage bolt has a pretty big washer on the bottom. That way it just prevents tear out or any pull out. It was important to me to go straight up to avoid any side-to-side stresses on the top of the Jeep. So from here you can see that we have 2 2x4s going to the back of the Jeep. Those 2x4s come to the back and end up at these Topsy product hooks. I'm really a big fan of these hooks. They attach to the rear glass hinges and it gives you a nice latching point. So the 2x4 that goes across the back is basically just design overkill. There was no real need for that piece, but it felt like it was making the top sturdier. At the top of the roof, you can see the hoist system. The only thing that was hard to do, not really hard, but just time consuming, was that this 2x4 required us to find the center of gravity, the CG of the top. So we had to move it back and forward a little bit till we were really happy with the top not moving as it was hanging. We have a 7-to-1 haul on this thing, so basically taking about 20 pounds of lift. I put a bungee cord on the back just to prevent the top from moving side to side as it's hanging. And we have a directional pulley here as well, just so I can pull it up by myself from behind the Jeep. So despite the fact that the 2 folks who worked on this have a pretty good science background, we did forget one pretty important piece. We built the system to have a good center of gravity when the top was being lifted. But what I forgot to do was the fact that when I put the Jeep back onto the top and I drive out of here, the piece of wood is not with the same center of gravity. So what I had to do was put one more rope here, and it'll attach to the side of the wooden frame. And that way, once I release the roof, the top will stay in balance as well. So whoops, forgot that little detail. Other than that, it's working out just fine. I can now lift the roof completely by myself, no issues whatsoever. Spent $20 on the block and tackle, maybe another $10 on 2x4s, and a random assorted $5 or $10 on assorted hardware. So for something under 40 bucks, I have a completely one-person operation lift that's quite easy to do. Thanks. Leave a comment in below if you have any questions.